But anyway, boys, we're gonna get down to business here. We did
Yeah,
see
yeah.
Merab Dvalishvili defeat Sugar Sean over 5 rounds by unanimous decision. Let me go to Babu. Babu, you said no surprises on the card. You didn't find this a surprising result?
Um, nah, not at all. I just thought he was gonna implement his game plan, which he did. And if you watch like previous fights of his, he didn't seem to gas too much in previous fights. So I just thought he would have done what he did. And seeing like most of the public's choice of Sugar, I was like, what? Why? I don't understand. I
Mm.
just don't get it.
He was the overwhelming bet. Well, not overwhelming, but a slight betting favorite at the beginning of the fight. Brother Guy, as far as the X's and O's
Yes.
here, what did you see?
Look again. I think the style of the fight. I think everyone knew because it wasn't difficult to kind of understand what both fighters were going to bring to the game. The thing that I found most interesting about the fight was Sugar Sean not fainting as much as he normally does, and not actually getting off. Like he couldn't fire. And I think Joe Rogan said it on broadcast was that Merab just couldn't stand still, so he was a consistently moving target, which ultimately made it very difficult for Sugar Sean to even plant his feet down to and throw a strike. We did see it towards around 4 and 5, which was my pick in the preview that Sugar Sean is probably going to get the knockout in round 4 or 5. I said round 4, and then you could see he was pushing to get the kill shot in round 4 and 5, but it almost felt like it was a bit desperate because he knew he was down so many rounds already up until that point. And even going into the 5th round, Sugar Sean was pushing the pace and only really started landing some damage to the last like 35 seconds of the fight. Um, what I found very interesting was the scorecard. I think one of the judges actually gave some of the rounds, 1 or 2 of the rounds to Sugar Sean, and I thought that was
They gave
weird.
2 rounds to Sugar, yeah. 3 and
Yeah,
5, I
which
think.
is, yeah, that's absolutely bogus. I thought every single round Marab won. Sugar Sean only really hurt Marab in that 5th round with the deep kick, which was quite significant, by the way. Marab took a lot of damage to that. You could see he was like, oh my gosh. And you could tell he was running
Mm.
away for the last 35 seconds of that fight. But I mean, at that point, he was already 20 minutes in and he had already dominated the fight. He did exactly what Jed said he was going to do, what we all thought he was going to do. And Sugar Sean couldn't do anything about it. I think the only thing I felt that Sugar Sean maybe would have brought to the game on the ground was that he could submit people. Like I've seen him do it in jiu-jitsu competitions. But like I said, jiu-jitsu, invitational, and MMA grappling, that doesn't translate to one another. It doesn't actually carry over between the two disciplines. So Sugar Sean just didn't have any counter for the wrestling at all. And you could see it deplete him. Like he was depleted coming into round 4. He had his head down and you could take in massive breaths. And I was like, this guy is. But I grinded him out. You could see he took away. He was getting so
Mm.
frustrated in his face. Sugar Sean, you could see, he was upset. Actually, do anything. He was like, "What the fuck do I do?" And Madab was smiling ear to ear. He was actually teasing the fight. We thought about how he was going on, teasing the referee. I was like, Madab is taking this whole thing for a piss right now, and that just shows his dominance as a wrestler and also his weapon, which is his gas tank. And yeah, like Babu was saying, it was no surprise in terms of if you look at it that way. The big surprise was Sugar Sean looked like he couldn't get anything going forward, and I think that was a big shock for me.
I just think his movement was so awkward and strange and unpredictable that Sugar couldn't really get set
Yeah.
to kind of
Yeah,
get
he couldn't
his
get
get his
set.
feints going and get his game plan,
Yeah.
implement his game plan. Jedi Knight, what are you saying here, bro?
Yeah, I agree, bro. Murab was obviously moving a lot and he was very elusive, you know what I mean? And making it
Yeah.
like, waving his hands around and as Rasa kind of teasing
Mm.
referee and teasing what's that guy, Tim?
Tim
Um,
Walsh.
Walsh, yeah.
and you could see he was
Big
yeah,
Red.
he was in his vibe, you know what I mean? He felt very dominant after the first round. The first round was obviously like a big question mark as to what is gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But the
yeah.
most surprising thing was the timing of that guy's takedowns and when he chose to actually go in. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
what it looked like it was he was kind of choosing when they're gonna fight, and if he doesn't want to fight, he
Mm.
just stayed away. You know what I mean? Sugar couldn't
Yeah.
really, as you say, like catch him or have him stop so that they could fight. And
Yeah,
very
couldn't do
dominant,
it.
very strong. Um, I think Sugar, for the most part, protected himself fairly well. Like
Yeah.
although he was getting beat up, he still kind of made it so that he's not really taking so much damage. You know what I mean? Which was good. But
Mm.
so the first round, I think it was kind of even. But I can see how some people could give it to Sugar, and now some people can go with Murab. But after that, I think Murab won every single round except the fifth round. I think the fifth round, he just kind of, after he got deep kicked, he just kind of coasted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
But that was like towards the end of the fifth round. You know
hats
what I
off
mean?
to
Like,
him. I think he implemented a solid game plan, and he just controlled the fight. He chose when he wanted to fight, which was very cool to see. Does it warrant
Oh,
a rematch? I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
But
Absolutely
yeah,
not. We're not gonna
a
have
quick
that
question,
discussion
boys.
here.
Do you think
shocking.
this fight would have played out the same if it was at the Apex? Because the Apex has a smaller cage. So do you think like that would have benefited Sugar?
I think it would have definitely been a factor, but I don't know if it would
It
have
was,
necessarily changed the outcome of the
yes,
result.
yeah, I agree with both
Um,
idea.
yeah,
But you
because
know
I mean,
why I
if it's a
say
smaller
why I do?
octagon, is it? Sorry, yeah, guy.
No, you can go. If it's a smaller
No, I
octagon,
was just gonna say if there's a smaller octagon, there's of course less space for him to move around, so
move
easier
around.
to get a
Yes.
hold of, and yeah,
mm,
might even have made it easier for Merab.
Marab, I was just about to say it might even made it because what's something that we have to also look at with Sugar Sean is that um there was almost no urgency to actually get off from the ground. He was attempting it, but it didn't really, couldn't really do anything. It's almost like there was a lack of sort of what's the next step to move Marab off him. Even though he got back up
mm,
to his feet twice in that five rounds, he did it twice. And stuffed a couple of other takedowns, but that was like half shots, like empty single legs. But when Marab
mm,
did
mm, mm.
attempt and then intend to actually get the groundwork going, Mali had absolutely no way of getting back up, and that's I think that's a
Yeah.
big factor to
It's
look at.
also Murab knows what he's gonna try and do, and I think also Sugar knows if I try and do this guy's gonna jump on my back, or he's gonna, you know what I mean. So like,
Yeah,
I think he was also just trying not to get choked out to dominate it any worse than what he was.
yeah, what it was.
So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Mm,
he done as good as he could do, bruh, for a losing
yeah.
Yes.
fight.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was just very strange to see. But again, I think full credit to Merab, who just made it really difficult for Sean to get going on the night. So brother Gaia, do we finally now see Sandhagen versus O'Malley? Or do you have any other ideas for O'Malley
I'd
moving forward?
love to see that.
Man,
I think
Yeah.
not Usman, what's it, man? Umar.
Umar's
Umar.
gonna probably fight Merab now, and then
Oh,
O'Malley's gonna
Yes.
fight Sandhagen, I'm hoping.
Oh, you say
Um.
no, Mally and
Yeah.
Sandhagen.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
O'Malley
Oh,
Sandhagen. There's
Peter
also
Yan,
Davison
bro, he's
Figueiredo.
not scared.
I think
They'll probably
Davison
do Peter Yan.
Figueiredo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peter Yan, Davison Figueiredo, and then Sandhagen, or maybe even Figueiredo because we won his last. He actually hasn't lost in this division yet, so he might
Mm.
even get a better chance than what only Sandhagen would, because Sandhagen was lost his last fight against Umar. And I think it's
So
no
he,
secret that the UFC want to make Umar fight against Merab. That's pretty sure. Even though Merab is campaigning for
Yeah.
the Figueiredo, Peter Yan also won his last fight, so. You kind of want to put the ones who won against each other, so that'll be Peter Yan and Figueiredo, and then the
Yeah.
ones who
Peter
obviously
Yan and
lost.
Figueiredo.
So O'Malley and Sandhagen might be the right call, AD.
I do like that. I do like the sound of that. Babu, any thoughts here regarding these two fighters
nah, I
and
think
going
that would
forward?
have.
Yeah.
I think that matchup of Magomedov against
Merab.
Dvilishvili would,
Mm,
yeah, I think it would play out like exceptionally well because like they both have like a similar skill set. I think Magomedov does have better hands from
Definitely.
especially like this fight.
mm,
Like you saw, Merab didn't really have too much to offer like on the feet. I think he was just moving away and like managing distance in that way. So to see like Magomedov actually get a hold of him and then piece him up, like that should be something nice.
Yeah, I think again, yeah, do agree with that. Great fight, great fight. Boys,
mm.
any final thoughts here before we keep it moving?
um, yeah, I'm keen to see what's gonna happen next for the UFC's number one star in O'Malley. I want to see what they're gonna book him next for.
Mm,
And then
Mm,
also for Marab,
mm,
dude, I just wish him a very long reign because I enjoy his character, I enjoy his style. I like the grind. It's quite fun. It's very fun to watch. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to the bantamweight for sure, because it's a stacked division.
Yeah,
it's a stacked
absolutely
division.
stacked. I am a little bit disappointed though. I was kind of hoping that Sugar Sean would go on like a 20-fight streak and become the greatest combat sports
I
sports
couldn't
athlete
see
ever.
it.
Nah, just
Couldn't see it.
because of the way that you guys reacted to that. That's why I wanted it to happen.